Hello, everyone. Today I decided to crawl up from under that rock that I have been hiding under lately and pull my camera out and sit and record a video to catch up with you guys and share some of the books that I have been purchasing lately. I know I haven't been sharing book hauls or anything, but just because I haven't been sharing book hauls, that does not mean that I haven't been purchasing books. So it's going to be a pretty much a collective haul of books that some that I purchased maybe way back in September, October, whenever I did my last haul. I have just been collectively accumulating books since then. Also, I have been battling a cough. I have like different allergies going on, so I have been kind of battling a cough that has been aggravating me. I use two different inhalers. I use Brio and I use the albuterol inhaler. And the Brio is like a daily inhaler. My albuterol inhaler is like a rescue inhaler. And they help, they do the trick, but sometimes the cough just gets a little overwhelming and that tires me out. And all I want to do is just lay down and sleep at any chance I get. So that has been an issue for me. Also, I had to purchase some new reading glasses because every last pair of reading glasses that I had, I think I had like three or four pair, with the exception of this pair, but this one, they're good, but they're not the best. So they're not one that I really reach for. But every single pair that I had from this pack, it was either three or four, the handles have just popped on me. So I had to get me a new pack of reading glasses. I just recently picked these up from Marshall's maybe last week and I'm loving them. They are a 4 pack. I think my strength was with the other ones 125, but these are 150s and I love them. I'm loving these. So, and another thing I wanted to show you guys while I'm thinking about it is something I have been enjoying in my coffees and teas. So, McCormick has these finishing sugars and they are amazing. They're mainly for like desserts. You can also use them in like coffee and tea, which that is my go-to for them. And here I have the English toffee. I'm not sure if this is going to show up backwards to you guys or not, but I have here the English toffee. This one is the Harry Potter butterbeer, and these are the ones from Bridgerton, and this is strawberries and cream. And as you can see, this one is my favorite. This one is the lavender vanilla. So if you're looking for something that has like a very good lavender flavor that is going to show up, this has that lavender flavor to it, because sometimes we may get lavender syrups and they don't show, it just does not show up the way you want it to. This is an awesome go-to. The lavender in here really does show up. So in this video, I'm going to mainly show books. I will come back with another video on, I think I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts. Today I'm going to show possibly over 30 books, depending on time and how my mic holds up for me, I will show possibly 30 books. I will come back with another video with a few more books that I didn't pull out to share in this video. And then I do have another video that I want to do where I show some of the notebooks. So I won't really be sharing notebooks in this video, but this is kind of like a little sneak peek of some amazing notebooks that I do have that I want to share with you guys. So that is a few things that I do have coming up. I'm going to do my best to show up, because most of the time when we say we're going to show up, it's not that we don't, and then we don't. It's not that we don't want to. Life just happens. Life catches up with us, like work, and you just get caught up in so many things that the extra things that you enjoy kind of often take the back burner. So I am going to do my best to show up a little more. And as for today, I'm going to go ahead on and turn the camera around and begin showing these books to you. Okay, so I do know that when you're recording with the camera front facing, sometimes things can show up backwards. So I'm going to quickly show you this. Again, this is the McCormick Finishing Sugars, and this one is the English Toffee. I have here the Harry Potter Butterbeer, the Bridgerton Strawberries and Cream, and also Bridgerton, and my favorite one of all is the Lavender Vanilla. And I almost forgot to also show you guys that this is the only extract that I've seen, the Harry Potter flavor, and this is the Harry Potter Butterbeer. I haven't quite figured this one out yet. It is, I tried it once in my coffee. I wasn't too excited about it. I may have put a little bit too much in there, but I'll figure something else out for the extract. So getting into the books, I'm going to show them as quickly as I can and in no particular order. I don't have them arranged in like a particular order, but I'm going to start with, so this is one that my daughter Amanda bought for me on a Barnes and Noble trip, and this is Mona's Eyes. And this is a very inspiring story. It is about a 10-year-old girl named Mona who is facing possible blindness, and it prompts her grandfather to take her to a museum every Wednesday to experience 52 paintings from the masters in order to fill her mind with the beauty of art before she faces her possible blindness. Okay, up next I have The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. And this book helps to explore our inner creativity and shows how it is a very fundamental part of life. And it's not just for the sketch artists or the paper artists, the canvas artists. It is artists in general. A musician is an artist. A person that sculpts shoes is an artist. So it helps us to explore our inner creativity and in the fundamentals of our inner creativity. Okay, guys, so I am back. You would not believe that it is over an hour later, because after the last word spoken with the last book I just showed, well, over an hour ago, my mic went kerplunk on me. but I am going to go ahead on and jump right back in. So, next, I have these two rare finds, which I almost passed up, but I have learned not to do that when I really have my eye on something. So, up next, I have Mother Pletchett's Painless Sewing with Pretty Patty's Perfect Pattern Primer. That's like a tongue twister. And it is by Patty Palmer and Susan Pletch. And this is an approach to beginner sewing through, and it also includes like humor in, I guess, in to help the learner be more interested. This is full of illustrations. Why am I so tongue tied? So it's full of illustrations in those vintage line work patterns. And I feel like it is a full guide on beginning sewing, as is the easier, easiest tailoring. And with this book, it also approaches a various methods of tailoring with jackets, coats, and it helps to simplify more complex techniques. This one is also illustrated. And although I'm not really practicing my sewing right now, sewing is still a big interest of mine. And I felt like it made sense to pick these up. And they were, I feel, a pretty decent price for each book. So, up next, this is a book that I am interested in reading because I have heard a lot about it and I found it on the clearance in the clearance area for $2. And this is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. And because I have not read it yet, I'm going to give you the Google breakdown of the book. And it is a humorous and poignant novel about an awkward high school senior, Greg Gaines, who navigates his final year by staying invisible, making bizarre films with his best friend Earl, and avoiding social groups until his mother forces him to befriend Rachel, a classmate with leukemia, leading to an unexpected and lifelong altering friendship as they make films for her. And it says this book is known for its honest, non cliche take on friendship, love, and dealing with serious illnesses. So, this is one that I have heard a lot about and am very interested in reading. So, up next, this is one that I have no knowledge of, but it seemed a little interesting to me. It was also on the clearance shelf. I picked it up and browsed through it a bit. And this one is called A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. And it's basically, as the title states, it is about a girl named Lada whose mother is on a quest to find her a husband, pretty much a suitable boy. So I don't know too much about this one. It seems like it is going to be a journey of a read. I see that people who have read it, they have good reviews on it. So I am interested in jumping into it. So before I jump into any other books, I am going to share the media that I picked up. So I picked up 2 seasons of Little House on the Prairie, which is about, I want to say maybe 54 episodes or something like that. And this, yeah, maybe about 50, it may be a little less than 54 episodes, maybe 44 episodes. But either way, all of that for, you can see each one of them were $3 a piece. So all of that for $6. And I'm pretty sure we are all familiar with, most of us are familiar with Little House on the Prairie. I grew up watching this, and for reasons of nostalgia, I just wanted to pick them up. So, up next here, I have 100 Ghastly Little Ghost Stories. This was only $2. So I made out pretty well. So a lot of, some of these, the especially the ones that you see with the discounted tags on them, are recent purchases from this week. Not all of them will be, but most of them with these little discounted tags on them, I did pick up this week. And this one is just as it states, it is like a little anthology of ghost stories. And who does not like a little collective anthology of short ghost stories that you can quickly get through? And I'll just read the inner flap here. It says, tiptoeing forward, he placed his hand on the doorknob. As he turned it slowly and silently, a strange fear gripped him. It was unusual, for though he was not the bravest man in the world, he was certainly not one to be frightened by darkness and the angrily gleaming eyes of a cat. The touch of terror was caused by something else. He knew not what. It angered him. Be warned, not only good things, but sometimes fear comes in small packages, or in this case, short packages. Although much commentary fiction dealing with ghosts runs to novel length, the short ghost story continues to entertain readers around the world. In fact, one of the attractions of short ghost stories is that it uses a minimum of elements to captivate its readers, and because of its length, evokes a powerful response before the tenacious air of suspense has a chance to dissipate. Proof of the ability of the ghost story to entertain readers can be found in 100 Ghastly Little Ghost Stories, which brings together a century and a half of ghost stories by the masters of the genre. So this is gonna be a fun, cute little read. So I have here up next The Civil War by Bruce Catton. And this is basically a vivid description of the armies that were involved in the war and the battles that were fought. It includes very descriptive information. It has a lot of photos in order to help bring the scenery to life. So it it is a historical read that I am very interested in, and I'll just read the back. It says reviewers were full of praise for the original deluxe edition of this book when it first appeared in 1960. The New York Times had this to say: the text itself is everything we have come to expect, nay to take for granted from the practiced hand of Bruce Catton, scholarly, judicious, clear, and unfailingly interesting. So it is just an interesting historical read for me. Okay, so up next, I have The Civil War, a narrative by Shelby Foote. And this one is said to be this one is a 3-volume set, and it's said to be over 1.2 million words of pure history. This set covers the Civil War from start to finish between the years of 1958 and 1972. It is also met with both positive and negative feedback because it is said to focus more on the white man's role in the Civil War, and it kind of downplays the role of slavery and the African American. So, whether something is met with positive or negative reviews, I still tend to, if I'm interested in reading it, I want to read it and form my own opinion because then you can say, okay, I see what people are saying, I see where these opinions are coming from. So this is one that I am going to take my time and have a nice long read with these books. It may take me a whole year to finish these because I don't intend to read them all the way through as I'm reading a novel. I just intend to just take my time and ingest these. Okay, up next is Mark Twain by Ron Shenroe. And as you can see, I have quite a few big boys that I'm showing you today. But when I saw this one come out, because I work at Amazon, and I remember when I saw this hit the shelf, and I knew I wanted this book. So this one, it it is basically the story of Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, and it is, and I'll read the Google description because I have not read it yet. So it explores his life from a Missouri childhood to his status as America's first literary celebrity, detailing his complex persona, business failures, family tragedies, and involving views of slavery and politics, using extensive archives to present a nuanced portrait of the author's contradictions and genius. And it was published in May of 2025. So I am excited to get into this one. And it is also one of the newest ones on my shelf because I just purchased this one mid April. I finally broke down and purchased it. So this one is Fever 1973 by Lori Halsey Anderson. And this one I am enjoying. I am like 6 chapters into this book here. And it is, this one is, it highlights a young adult, it's a young adult historical novel by Lori Halsey Anderson about a 14-year-old Maddie Cook surviving the 1973 yellow fever epidemic in Philadelphia, which devastates the city and forces her family to flee with her grandfather, learning to survive and rebuild amidst fear and loss. So I am in the, like I say, 6 chapters in, and so far there has been a pretty heavy level of loss in the book, especially for such a young child to have to experience, and I am enjoying it so far. Okay, up next I have H is for Hulk by Helen McDonald, and this book explores the themes of love, loss, and memory, drawing parallels between her own struggle with grief and T.H. White's classic book, The Gossick, which details his own attempt to train a hawk. It's a story of a woman's finding a way to navigate profound loss through the wild The Wild Solitary and the Demanding World of a Falcon. So I just love my one of my favorite books are is I mean not books. One of my favorite birds is eagle. So with my love of flight and birds such as that, I just found interest and would love to read this book. Okay, up next I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and I decided to pick this one up because I don't think I have a standalone copy of the story. I have this Barnes and Noble edition here, which I have had on my shelf for quite some time. It has a few issues going on with it, but it is overall it is in pretty good condition. But it'll be nice to read the story from a much smaller standalone copy. And I have read this as a child, a very much younger person. So there's certain things I remember about the story, but I really need a memory refresher on it. And I like the edition that I found on the shelf. And as you can see, it was only $1. It has color illustrations in it. It has regular sketch illustrations in it to go along with the story. So I would enjoy reading from this copy. So up next, I have The Manticore by Robert Davis, and this is part of a trilogy. I think book two in a trilogy. So I would have to get the other books that go along with it. Although I think it did say that it does not have to be read as part of the trilogy. It can be read as a standalone novel. And this one seems a little more complex to me. It is about, okay, it's a 1972 novel by Canadian author Robertson Davis, the second book in his Deptford trilogy following Fifth Business. It centers on David Sutton, a successful but troubled lawyer who undergoes Jungian psychoanalysis in Zurich to understand his complex relationship with his recently deceased larger than life father, Boy Sutton, and his own psyche, encountering figures from his past and exploring themes of myth, psychology, and self knowledge. So I still found it interesting, and I found it at a nice price for $3 in the clearance area. So happy to add this one to my bookshelf. So this is my newest edition of the Letters of Vincent van Gogh. This is the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, which I already had on my bookshelf. So this one is by Mark Roskill, and this one is by can't remember who did this one. This one is selected letters by Ronald De La Rue. So I'm showing both of them to say that these are selected letters. So if you do own either copy of the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, don't think that it's just the cover images that are different. These are totally different books altogether because they're selected letters. They may have some of the same letters in the books, but they are actually selected letters by different authors. Altogether, I want to say there were over, I think, 903 letters altogether in the Vincent van Gogh that was found in his correspondence, and about 800 of them, I think 800 of them that are published are of his correspondence, and there are the rest of them are by maybe his brother Theo and other people that are letters that were written to him. Altogether, he's had over 2,000 letters in his lifetime. I'm not sure if they've all been published or all, all accounted for. I don't think that they're all accounted for. But I say that to say that I find it fascinating, and it would be nice if we could go back to the simple form of letter writing, because I feel we're losing so many words. Now we do have a different form in text messages, in emails, in social media DMs, and all of this would have to be gathered in some form in order to be of historical importance as something like this. So I find books that are gathered letters. Vincent van Gogh. I have several different books that of gathered letters. I think I have Tolstoy. I have books by several people that are letters. And I just find it fascinating that all of them were able to just be gathered and put into books, because back then they would have like boxes, different things where their letters were kept. There were even, of course, there were a lot of letters that were lost, because there was also a time where people believed in reading the letter and burning the letter. So I'm glad that everyone didn't do that, and that there are some letters from the past that we can look back on and learn from. Okay, before I continue on with the novels, I'm going to jump in with this little find that I have, and this is 1,200 words you should know to sound smarter. And it is exactly as the title states. It is 12 over 1,200 words and their meanings in order to help you build your vocabulary. And this is another book that I just like to just sit and go through, pick out random words to look at sometimes. Now, this I feel was a lucky find, because this book is selling for at least $20 on Amazon, and I was able to pick it up for $3. And it is a brain teaser, a book full of brain teasers. I love stuff like this. Always have loved brain teasers, and the book is completely new. It has no writing in it at all. There's crossword puzzles in here, Sudoku in here. There's, all kind of things. It's puzzles that I have never even heard of before. So, word, yeah, crossword. I think I said crossword, Sudoku. I don't know if they have word search in it, but it's a lot of complex puzzles in here, and I will not be cheating. There's even the little maze puzzles in here, and it's several different ones. Even though you see it, they're different, and I will not be cheating, because of course there is the solution guide in the back. But but I'm not done my tea. It is over 450 puzzles, and this is the large print edition. And this is something that I'm just going to enjoy sitting and doing. So, up next, I have this very, very nice set of His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. And in this set, I have all three books. I have The Golden Compass, The Subtile Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. And they are all in amazing condition. And I've been wanting this as a complete set, and I am elated with the set that I found. I'm glad that I didn't give in and purchase another set. I love the set that I found. And it is safe to say, looking at this, that this is in very new use condition, because the even though the jacket has wear to it, the books, if you look, the books are in very, very pristine shape. The spines on them have not even been cracked or anything. This is a very nice set. So up next, I have The Inheritance here by Christopher Paolini. And this is book 4 in the Inheritance cycle. Now, the thing about this set is I I am pretty sure I have the entire set in my storage, but I think I have this in hardcover. I saw this paperbound book on the stand, and it was, yeah, 10.99. So I felt that that was a decent price for it. I saw this and I just could not pass it up. It's another, like I said, pretty decent copy if you look at the condition of it. And I think that I would enjoy reading this from this edition. Now, this is like I said, this is number 4 in the series, and it follows the book Aragon, Eldest, and Brisinger. And I'm certain I have all 4 of the books. And the thing about my storage now, I did not mention that I just purchased myself a car in December. I just took my first solo road trip home this in April. It's May now. I took my first solo road trip home at the end of April, and I will be able to go back and forth now in order to retrieve things out of my storage finally, from moving stuff from Louisiana to Texas. So one of the first things that I will be excited about grabbing is a good bit of my books. So I'm happy to add this one onto my bookshelf also. So on a bit of a heavier note, now I may have shown this book before, because this is one that has been on my shelf for a very, very long time. And this is the Great Short Works of Leo Tolstoy. Now, this one I consider my readable copy, and I have another one that I keep on my shelf as my bookshelf copy. The funny thing about these 2 books, though, is if you look, they were sold at 2 different prices. So I'm pretty sure that this must be an earlier form of the book than this one is. But I say that to say, this book, this is the one that I just love going to reading, and it's holding up pretty well for me. I'm hoping that nothing eventually falls out, because I do have spots in it that I am a little concerned about. So that's why I have a backup copy as my bookshelf copy. But I don't know if I should just switch up and start reading this one and retiring this one, which I may just decide to do. But as ugly as you may think the book is, I think it is beautiful. So up next, I have Silas Marner, and in this edition, it contains 2 other stories. I kind of bookmark them. This one is a purchase I just made this week also. So in here, it also has The Lifted Veil and Brother Jacob. So I just wanted both editions of this book because I love this color cover. illustration. This is a Barnes and Noble Classic Edition. And this is a story about a lonely weaver who was wrongfully accused of theft and pretty much exiled from his community. And he kind of finds redemption and a new life in a when he meets an orphan child by the name of Epi. So this is kind of like a one of those stories that pulls at your heartstrings. And like I said, I wanted both copies because I really like this edition also. And honestly, I'm going to read from both editions of this book. And I love when I find little odd notes in old books and stuff like this. So this was also inside of the book. But yes, both of these are Silas Manor by George Eliot. So up next, I have here Tom Brown's School Days by Thomas Hughes. And this is basically a coming of age story. Okay, I had to let my daughter pass through for a minute. So it is basically a coming of age story about a boy in the 1830s, and it focuses on his experiences with bullying, friendship, um, his moral development, just a, a basic coming of age type story. And this one is also, I should have mentioned, in the same printed by the same company as Silas Manor, and I'm happy with the edition that I found of this story that I found. I don't know why I'm so tongue tied. Both at the same price, both same printing company. So I'm happy to have these two editions on my shelf. Okay, so up next, this story I'm unfamiliar with, and it is The Master of Baltanair. So this is a very, very beautiful Reader's Digest copy. I love when it includes the leaflets, the original leaflets that comes with the books, and all of this for only $3. This is a very, very nice copy of the book. So I'm going to read the Google description of it. And it is a dark historical novel by Robert Louis Stevenson set during the 1974 Jacobite Rebellion that follows the bitter rivalry between two Scottish brothers, the charming but evil the Master, James the Master, and the dutiful Henry Dury. The conflict, fueled by ambition and betrayal, spans Scotland, India, and the American wilderness, and is narrated by the family steward Ephraim McKellar as a tale of good versus evil, family loyalty, and revenge. And as you can see, this is a very beautiful edition of the book in new condition. That's why you really, really should check out your local used bookstores before just going to the newer stores, because you never know what type of books you're saving from the landfill, because I'm pretty sure that this is the last stop from most of them. They may go to a thrift store or something like that if they don't sell, and then afterward a landfill or something somewhere. But you can find some very, very nice books at your local used bookstore. So up next, I have here a nightstand reader for women, and this is a collection of short stories and poems Again, a very, very nice copy of the book, as you can see, and a very nice collection of short stories and poems to, like I said, put on the nightstand. So I saw this one and it caught my eye. And this one is Summer Sisters by Judy Blume. Another one that I am not too familiar with. And I feel like this is an actual leather bound book. Looking at it up close, it really looks like it is a true leather bound book. This one was 764 because some books I immediately take the sticker was here, so I didn't like it there, so I just took it in, put it here. But I picked this one up for $7.64, and this book it follows the complex, decades long friendship between two very different girls. The reserved Victoria, nicknamed Vix Leonard, and the glamorous Kathleen Summers, who bond during the summers of Martha's Vineyard starting in 1977. The story follows their evolving friendship, exploring themes of love, betrayal, class, differences, and transition from childhood to adulthood, culminating in a reunion to Kathleen's wedding years later, where Vix seeks to understand their past. So, this is going to be a very interesting girl type read, and it is going to be very lovely reading from such an edition. Okay, so up next I have Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad, and I love the edition of this book. I found this one so nice. The dust jacket's still intact, even though it's not as fragile as it could be, but look at it. Beautiful, beautiful edition of this book. And this book is about a young seaman, Jim, who is haunted by a moment of cowardness when he abandons a ship full of pilgrims, leading to a lifelong quest of redemption and grappling with themes of honor, guilt, and the conflict between idealism and reality. So I am going to enjoy reading this book also. It looked like it's going to be a very, very quick read. And just, I've mentioned before, reading from tiny books I is one of my favorite size books to read from. Okay, so of all of my tiny books, this is my all-time favorite. This is a hymnal. I purchased this one maybe sometime during the summer of last year. So I've had this one for a while, and I do reference to this book quite often. This book contains sermons, it contains scriptures, hymns. It is just like a all-time pocket companion. I really, really love referencing this book. It even breaks down into different segments as far as holidays like Easter, and it follows from, as far as Easter, it follows Easter, I want to say Palm Sunday. It breaks down into a perfect guide where you can reference from it extremely often. So this is one of my favorite little pocket sized companions. I want to find a better way to carry it around so I can carry it around more often. I carry it sometimes, but not too much because I don't want to damage it, but I will have to get like a little pouch that I keep it in so that I can throw it in my bag and not worry about it. So I've decided that these last three will be the cutoff here because I still have a stack of Norman Rockwell's. And I think I'm just going to save that for a separate video. And I'll just go ahead on and go through these few that I have here left. So this is called the Texas Sketchbook. I found this one by luck. It is $3. And this one, I forget what year it was from. I want to say maybe, okay, 1962. Yeah, I was about to say, I think it was from the 60s. So 1962. And it just gives a breakdown of a lot that on the history of early Texas, on the capitals. It would be nice to be able to find something like this on every state. It has sketches from where things were being built, how things were coming about, sketches, watercolor. This is a very, very, very nice book to be able to sit and go through. And to say it's so old and it is a paperback book, it is in great, great condition. So up next, I have what I just purchased, which what feels like today for me, but it was actually yesterday. And yesterday, May 2nd, that was my daughter's birthday. It is now currently, since it's 5 a little after 5 a.m. It is May 3rd, but yesterday, May 2nd, was my youngest daughter's 21st birthday. So I picked this up from the place where I picked up her cake. I picked her cake up from Whole Foods. And they had on their magazine rack, I was surprised to see this little Bob Ross magazine, and it is The Joy of Painting 30 plus years later. So it has a good bit of his work in here as I browse through it. And this is something that is, if you have a Whole Foods near you, this is still available because, like I said, I just picked it up. It is currently on the newsstands. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but skip through it a little bit just so that you can see a little bit of what's going on in here. So, yeah, this is the Bob Ross magazine. And lastly, would you look at this? This is also on the newsstand. And I the funny thing about this is there were 4 covers. So I picked up all 4 because I thought it was 4 different magazines, and I'll show you. It's not 4 different magazines. It is a collector's edition, and it's telling you you can collect all 4 covers. But as I look through them, all of them contain all of the same type of commentary throughout the book. I opened the first page, same thing. Opened the back page, it was the same thing. So they are all basically the same. Beautifully illustrated book. This is, this is going to be something so gorgeous to sit and have tea with. And I'm doing a slow 1 minute, 1 minute each, 3 minutes altogether, flip through of it in my Instagram stories, which is still up at the moment, but I may save it as a highlight. If you want to see the slow flip through of it, you can check out my Instagram and watch me flip through it. I'll just name the highlight, maybe Bridgerton magazine or something like that. And you can actually watch me flip through it page by page. Okay, guys, as I said, this will be a long one, but we got through it. And this is the part of the stack that I still have not gotten to. I have some nice editions of Norma Rockwell, and I will sit and go through these with you in a separate video. That may be the next video that I post, where I show you these Norma Rockwells. And I don't know, I may pull out all of my Norma Rockwell books, because I'm looking at several. My art bookshelf is facing right behind my camera. So I don't know if I'll just do these, because some of the Norman Rockwells that I have shown in other videos before, but I may just pull them all out since I have these. And this one here, I had really been wanting. So I was so excited to get my hands on this one. Oh, this is the 332 page book of his magazine covers. Was so excited to get my hands on this book here. So, and I have to see how I'm going to show this one to you all, because several of the books are so big that they're too big for my desk. So I may have to just put them on my lap and flip through some of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead on and get it all pieced together so I can post it so you can see it. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching.